morning, Retta's Recovery Reminders, my ratchet with me. You know, I was thinking, Gen X, our generation, we grew up disconnected. Like, we saw the world, you know, and the way that we were taught, like different countries, and there was so much separation. You know, different religions, different races, different, you know, everything separate. And we were never given any kind of spiritual knowledge that, at least I wasn't given any spiritual knowledge that I could actually sink my teeth into. And I tried. Ratchet, stop that. I, you know, have a Christian family, I don't know their specific religion, but, you know, I went through the whole, what do you call that? Where you eat the flesh and drink the blood, which I think is a demonic ritual now. I really believe that the religion that they put out to the masses is a demonic spell that they place over us to have us in some sort of subservient, everything is externalized. And that's not the way we're meant to, you know, understand it. It's all supposed to be internalized. And I really believe that's why I could never connect with any of the spiritual teachings, because I knew in my heart that they just weren't right. They weren't the real, the true. When you, like, are faced with truth, there's something in your spirit that tells you, yeah, this is home. This is right. This sounds, you know, plausible. At least plausible, you know. And after studying what they have done with the Christian religion and the Bible and all that other stuff, and researching who King James actually was and what they were trying to accomplish, it's all patriarchal control. And we were basically taught lies to further their narrative, their control, their domination of the world. And it's really a colonization of world thinking, you know. And we are not colonized. We are one people all over this planet. Like, the separation leads to division in our hearts, which we know is not the truth, and we rebel against that. I mean, we're just fighting the demons within our own spirit, self, psyche, whatever it is. And once you can face those demons within your psyche, it makes it a lot more organic to understand spiritual matters. You know, I don't know how else to explain it. I feel like I'm being led to speak on how I overcame my resistance to the religious text and the religious narrative. The religious, because that's not, it's an internal thing. It's all internal. The whole way we see the world, we see everyone else. And everyone else is sent into our life to teach us something about ourselves. And they will not leave our lives until that specific thing is realized. And I don't know. I just lost my train of thought because I'm home. Anyway, God is love, and it starts in your heart, and there's no judgment in unconditional love. And when we judge other people, we're just judging ourselves. We are judging other people, but we are using that same judgment on ourselves and our lives. And judgment is not where it's at. Believe me, it only leads to more judgment and more negativity. You have to get out of the judgment and into the unconditional love in your heart, the unconditional love of God, you know, and get out of the stories of the Bible and into your heart. You know, the world is so backwards these days. The way people interact, the way, like, my whole marriage was like, and I know that's what it was there to teach me. This isn't real. This is illusion. You can believe the illusion that you see with your eyes, or you can go with what you feel in your heart, which is the truth. And I began to go with my heart. What I knew in my heart was the truth. You need to clear your throat chakra and be able to speak your truth without fear of retribution. You shouldn't get retaliation from other people because of the way you feel. That's toxic, very. And that's exactly what I encountered in my whole last relationship. And I realized until I was able to speak my truth, no, this is not right. You know, I don't know who you see, but you don't see the actual me, because everything that's coming out of your mouth tells me that that's not who I am. You know, I don't know what you see, but it's a reflection of your own self, because that's all we can do. And that's what I did for so long, is I reflected myself onto him. And that's why I allowed his bad behavior for so long. And I justified it because of his hard childhood, traumatic situations, you know, whatever he told me he went through, you know, and I do believe it, you know, but there comes a point in a time where, you know, and I told him plenty of times, that doesn't make it right. That's why we do the opposite of what happened to us in order to break out of those cycles. We can't break generational curses doing the same thing that our parents did, which is why I left. You know, my mother's like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" What do you mean, am I sure I want to do that? He's been fucking with my mind for 20 years, making me feel like I wasn't good enough. And, oh, well, burn the road up. You know how many times I heard that? Burn the road up. Like whenever I bring something to his attention that I wanted, you know, to work out. Oh, well, you don't like it. There's the door. And finally, I realized, oh, my God, okay, all right, I don't like it. So there's the door, let me take it. And I was so afraid of his reaction to that I didn't allow myself to actually leave. And I, you know, prayed and prayed and prayed. And I mean, that's why I'm grateful it happened the way it did, that he left. You know, his mother wanted him back for some reason. I don't know. That's another weird, what is that? Opedipus rex? I don't know. Anyway, it was weird. And I felt like I was in competition with his mother, which is, I wasn't in competition with anybody, but I feel like they were in competition with me. I even felt like my husband was in competition with me. And that's weird. Like, no, you're supposed to be my partner. And he was like, no, you got to listen to me. Like, there was no conversation. Be like, I don't want you to talk. I want you to listen. That's not conversation. That's not how conversation works. And I just realized, he's got his own perception of how he thinks the world should be. And so do I. And I realized the distance between mine and his, and how there was no like merging those perceptions into the same perception, because there's just, I'm not a victim. I'm a victor. Okay. In every circumstance, I'm going to come out like grinning and smiling and, okay, what do I do next? Because that's just my character. And it's always been my character. Okay, I fall down, I dust myself off, I get up and I keep going. But the whole time I was in this relationship, I couldn't get up off my knees. And that was what I had to realize. You can only go as far as the people around you like think you should go, because they're going to talk shit to you to try to get you to bow down. And it's up to you to say, no, I don't think so. I choose my own path and to live it. And strangers, people that I had never met before in my life, gave me a place to park my camper for, the first few months. And I'm so grateful. Like, God puts people in your life to make sure that you're cared for. And that's what I realized. You don't need the toxic people that are around you. Those obviously aren't your people. But until you're brave enough to jump off that cliff, you're never going to learn that you have wings. And, I allowed myself to stay stuck and to stay small for a long time. And I allowed, his sister to bully me into silence and to not speaking up about wanting to see my son. And that's bull pucky. There's a court order that says I'm meant to have monthly visitation. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that that court order is in place. And I already called legal aid. I will be filing for a contempt hearing. And I know that she is in the wrong, and I'm in the right. I love my child. I want to speak with my child and tell him how proud I am of him. I want the best for my son, unlike her, who just wanted control of my child, probably for his Social Security check. I'm almost sure. But, that's not my place. I am worried about his spiritual and mental and emotional well-being. And I, now that he's with my dad, I'm sure that it's a little more cared for. At least it's not abused. He's not being abused, when someone, punishes you for crying because you miss your mom and dad. I mean, that's why I just can't understand. But because the state is demonic. The society we live in is demonic. They are breaking families apart. And they will do everything they can to make you feel like they're doing the right thing. And it's not. They're destroying families. They're destroying our future is what they're doing. Because the children who come from broken families, even if they're told they're cared about and, loved, and they still have that, it's a wound, a mother wound, a father wound, a neglect wound, an abandonment wound. I know, because I had it. I had it. And I want to make sure my kids don't. And, I can only do so much. Ratchet, you got mud paws all over me. I don't know. I'm just doing the best I can. And I pray every day that, I'm given the next right step. And I'm going to keep taking that next right step and keep getting up and going to work and getting up and going, to do my meditation and my inner work to make sure that I am the best person that I can be to, teach my children what I have learned. And only then will the generational curses, be broken. I've heard that generational curses are broken like once you heal yourself, like everything is healed. I mean, maybe that's energetically true, but I want to be a healer. And in order to be a healer, I had to heal myself. And I'm doing a really good job. I'm, asking the universe to place a spiritual teacher in my path. But until that happens, I will continue to just be in my happiest, joyous, most aligned self with my everyday, loving my life. This, I'm grateful because this is like the extra player that I shouldn't have, really. That's what I feel. That's what I feel about it. After that MDE, this is my extra player. And if I squander the extra player, I don't know. This is just my chance to get my life in order. And I am going to do everything I can to do that. I hope everybody has a really blessed day today. I love you guys. I wish you the peace of love and just of connectedness in your soul. We are all one. It's all one consciousness behind different eyes. And if we looked at everybody like they were us behind different eyes, the world would be a different place. Stop the division. We're more alike than we are different. I love you guys. Be blessed. Peace.